All right, yes, thank Charles and Brianna Spears here joining us. Let's open it up to questions here in the room. Different one, kick this off.
Yeah, Tina, so late in the third quarter, it's 48-45, and you guys finish on a 33-20 run. What were kind of the keys there?
Just to be as aggressive as we can. Sue and Dee would always say, they practice too, they work on their game too. And I know they still want to get better regardless of their record. And we definitely felt that out there. We have respect for them, but we knew what we had to work on. And Stewie led us, and it was just great momentum in the game.
And Stewie, they announced Sue into third place all time in steals. What maybe Sue would say, oh, it's just longevity, right? But what is kind of maybe what makes Sue better at defense than some people give her credit for?
I think it's just her core awareness. Everybody knows she knows where everyone's going to be offensively, and she knows the same defensively. She knows who she's guarding, who has the ball, which matchup is most important, and she puts herself in passing lanes, and she's a defensive stopper.
And one more for you, Stewie. Kind of earlier on, you were a little bit in foul trouble. You picked up 3 fouls, I think, kind of early in the second quarter, and even the fourth, kind of early in the third. In those moments, is it something kind of to talk with coach as far as keeping you in, or how do you kind of adjust when that is an issue?
I think it was more so the first half. Once I had 3 in the first half, it's you really have to be careful because you don't want to pick up that fourth. In the second half, when I got the fourth one, I wasn't surprised with the way the game was going, but I still had 2 more.
Tina, I just wanted to ask, especially about that sequence during the third quarter. I think you made back-to-back buckets. Kind of what did you see on those plays?
It's not what I see. I just know who I am. That's just preparation meets opportunity. That's all it is. Regardless of the situation, just gonna go out and try to be as dominant as I can when never given the opportunity. I love to score, so I think everybody knows that. So just taking advantage.
Going back, it's kind of sticking on that third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. I look at a different angle. It looked like you guys were fast paced, that you were tempo, and is that something that you'll really thrive on? And then follow up from Houston.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just joining this team, but if it's something that I know when I was an opponent was, they look to go up and down, especially Jewel, especially Stewie getting out. And since I've been here and being in the practices, that's something that I see and something that I need to get back into doing. So I'm happy that I'm put in the position, regardless of who it is, first post down, we do our buddy pass and all of that. But yeah, it's great to be a part of. It's easy way to score rather than scoring on someone who sets up with their defense. So yeah, works out. But that starts with us getting stops. And Seattle is always known for getting stops, and that's the reason why we're able to get out in transition and making it hard and getting the rebound. So yeah, it all starts with getting stops.
Starts with the defense, and then
starts with our defense for sure.
Still, how dangerous are you guys if you're able to score multiple ways?
I was talking after the game, and what really makes us dangerous is the fact that obviously we love to play fast, we love to get steals and score in transition, we love to shoot threes, but when we can really be dominant in the paint like we were today and we've been the past few games, it's hard for people to guard us. Look at our lineup in general. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of greatness on our team, and I think that since we've added Tina, I don't know how many games it's been, but we're only getting better. And that's what's most exciting because, as we ramp up to the postseason, we want to make sure that we're going to be our best.
One quick one. You guys just had 4 days rest. What was that like?
It was nice. I think that, obviously coming off an All-Star break, we were able to play a noon game, which was tough, and then have a day and a half off to really get our bodies rejuvenated, ready to be locked in. And then talking about our depth and who we have on this roster, our practices are competitive. When we play, we really play. And that's how we prepare ourselves, because I feel that it's hard to play a game after 4 days off because you don't know, you're not in the game rhythm, and we were able to keep that in practice.
But Tina, those days of practice, were they useful for you after kind of just game, right after another once you got here?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, just because, with coming off the bench, I've been able to watch the way Stewie moves and how she moves in and out of the offense, and same thing with Ezzy. So it's been really good to have practices just to know what the plays are, playing with the group that comes off the bench, playing with them. So it just gave me just more time to just be familiar with the plays, familiar with the defense, and just their approach every time they take the court.
Let's go to questions on Zoom. M. Adler, go ahead, M.
First question, just wanted to ask to Tina. You just mentioned getting more familiar with the plays. I know you've mentioned before, like being impressed with Seattle's schemes when you were in Washington or when you were in Phoenix. Just as you've gotten more time to get into the rhythm of things, how much are you enjoying being able to play in those?
How much am I enjoying to be playing?
Being able to play in those schemes.
Yeah, I mean, I love playing basketball, so regardless of what it is, it's just more so that the individuals that I'm alongside of, how each of them approach every single practice, caring about every single possession, defensive possession, just seeing how the coaching staff prepares for the game and make sure everyone is readily prepared. I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's what the main difference is. What attracted me to Seattle were the players on this team and just their approach and just what's known about Seattle.
Thanks. And then Stu, I just want to follow up on your time about Sue's defense before, just in terms of her knowing where everyone is, just how much does that help you, that level of communication she brings?
It's huge. I mean, ever since I was able to share the court with Sue, just being a sponge, learning as much as I can from her. And she's one of the greatest to do it for a reason, because of the way she affects the game on and off the court, both ends of the court. And yeah, I don't know, how many more does she need to get to second place?
Thanks.
Jeff, go ahead.
Stu, you touched on it earlier. You guys are 6-1 since Tina joined the team. Just talk about what she's brought and maybe the most noticeable improvements since she's joined.
No pressure.
No, I mean, Tina obviously brings a lot. Everyone knows she's an amazing player. She's one of the best players in our league, and the way she can really affect and change the game. But if I'm being completely honest, the thing that she's brought has just been confidence, not in her, like obviously she's confident in herself, but I could see just the rest of the team gaining confidence and kind of thriving off of what she brings. So I think it's just it's a lot of fun. It's great to share the court with her. We've done it with USA a lot of times, and now to be able to do it in the WNBA, it's dangerous.
Was that a good answer, Tina?
No, solid.
Thank you, Paul.
Is your defense underrated? She doesn't know about your defense.
You
Trying
know-
to say something over here about it.
Talk about your defense. She's an amazing rebounder. She always knows where to be.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
What else you guys want me to say?
No, is that something that you would thrive on? Because, great scorers in all sports. So they play great defense, but it's underrated. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah. Again, I'm learning their defensive schemes. I'm loving that it's something that's demanded from me, which isn't something that was in the past. And that's the reason why they're always one of the top teams in this league, because they care about both ends of the floor. So yeah, I'm very thankful to be a part of it. And that's what any player would want. You still want to grow. The older you get, you still want to learn. You still want to be challenged. And that's everything that I'm receiving here.
And are you able to play centers for the 5 spot and 4 spot? How comfortable are you switching in both of those positions?
I feel I've been doing that my whole life. So it's not really anything to me yet.
And she only needs 53 steals, but she only has 11 games left. So
She better
that
get
might be
to
a little-
work.
that might be a little tough. Cool. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you.
All right, Coach, just open this up for your thoughts on today's game.
Yeah, I thought we started the game well, and I think ended the game well. Had a lull in the middle of the game, but I thought that Gabby and Steph did an amazing job on Mitchell early on to start. Obviously, Stewie caught fire, and Tina had some great contribution. So all in all, difficult sometimes to stay engaged with, Indy, but I thought that we had appropriate energy and executed when we needed to.
Late in the third quarter, they cut it to 48-45. You guys finished the game on a 33-20 run. What stood out the most about that?
About the run, our defensive activity, getting our hands on balls, trapping, getting easier buckets. We executed, they trap, step up. So we just kind of, took advantage of that. So I just thought we were just a little bit sharper.
And so they announced today Sue moved into third place all time
Mhm.
on the steals. She would say it's just longevity.
You're right.
But what maybe makes her underrated as a defensive player that, people may not give her credit for?
She plays defense with her mind. She knows angles. She knows where she's effective in understanding personnel. So I think sometimes, you think about the best defensive players being aggressive, being physical, being in bodies and in spaces. And I think sometimes you don't think about the defensive players who, know the scout, know the schemes, know what the players are going to run, how they like the ball, and just being in the vicinity of areas to get hands on balls, to get steals, and just to be aware.
And with the win, you move back into third place. You have 11 games left, 2
Mhm.
games out of first place. Chicago is your next opponent. How critical is it to finish strong at the end of the season?
It's huge. Just knowing that is very tight race at the top. And in general, you want I tell you guys all the time, to be playing their best basketball toward the end of the season. I don't think that we've peaked quite yet. We're still trying to figure things out. And in the midst of that, finding ways to win and be very effective. So each and every game moving forward is very important. And, we are going to be present, be where our feet are. So we don't want to look past any opponent, not think big picture too much, but just knowing it's the last stretch, and we have to be mindful of the way in which we come into games and how we want to be effective on both ends of the floor.
You referenced that lull in the third quarter where they pulled with the 3 points. Was there something that they were doing differently during that stretch? Or was there something maybe you guys weren't doing?
No, I think, they're just putting their heads down and going to work. I think about isolations on the post. I think about just transition buckets, Kelsey going downhill. Nothing that it's out of the ordinary of what Indy did. I think it just was us, and just kind of picking back up our energy and our focus a little bit.
How big were those back-to-back buckets?
Huge. I mean, not just for this particular game, but for us and what we want to do and how we know she can be effective for us. And for us, our teammates, her to see that. She's a bucket, prolific scorer in this league. And we want to make sure we continue to take advantage of that.
And then obviously you guys have a matchup with Chicago.
Mhm. Yes.
How do you carry this momentum?
I think just, again, thinking about the season, we actually do have a practice day before, which is great because we perform great when we are locked in and able to get reps. And just, this is the tail end of our season. Every matchup is like a playoff matchup, in my opinion, just who we're playing and, on the road and thinking about those things. So it's a take one game at a time, but know that we have to just be sharp in our execution no matter what it is, and be clean in every capacity of the game, and just hope for the best.
They're connected, but which one is lagging? Offense, defense? Like, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, our offense is trending in the correct direction. The one thing I like to see is, though we didn't shoot the ball well from 3, we were very, very efficient from 2. We got to the free throw line and we found ways to score. I think if we understand that about us, we're better. And we are still understanding each other, like where we can find easy baskets, where we can set players up on the floor in those moments without having to, take a timeout to do that. So there are things that come with time and experience when it comes to offense. And that is, especially the way we play, it is reps, but there's also a chemistry and a flow with one another. And so we're getting there. Well, our defense has sustained us for the entire season, I think. What did you guys think about her defense? Tell me so I can answer this question appropriately. Let me know. Don't set me up now. Let me know.
Tina Charles's versatility, her ability to go from the 4 to the 5.
Absolutely.
Is that something?
Yeah, you know, yeah, and I think when you think Tina Charles, you think about what she does offensively, right? And she's coming into a system where we're trapping a lot, we're aggressive, and she's not used to it. And kudos to her, she's doing a great job, you know. And again, it's not sometimes defense is not only physically what you're doing, but mentally your preparation and knowing your spots and how to pick them and be in the correct spots. And I think especially with our team, she's fitting into our defensive schemes very well. All right, thanks.
Let's go to M. Adler on the Zoom. M. Adler, go ahead.
Hi. Just a quick question. When you look at Indiana, you've always played them 3 times in really short succession. It's a young team, a lot of top prospects. Is there
Yeah.
anything in particular you've seen in the games y'all have played and just said like, oh, she's going to be great in a couple of years or things along that line?
I hope I don't get fined for this, but Queen Egbo, I mean, just today you see her strength in the middle of the paint. So again, something that you didn't quite see at Baylor, just but her versus, you know, the our forwards, it was good to it was interesting. I don't say good because she was scoring, but it was very good, cool to see just a young player going at, you know, some pros and some vets in this league. Nalissa Smith is another one. She's very saucy with the ball and some things that you don't see in college. She's shooting the 3, getting to the rim, and she just, you know, she's a dog, like she goes hard. So those 2 young players, you know, and obviously they have other young players on their roster, but I think those 2 in particular are going to have a long career.
Thanks.
Yeah, just curious. So Stewie, she had a great game, but she was also in foul trouble
Yeah.
early on. You know, had 3 fouls kind of
Yeah.
midway through the second quarter, and then picked up her 4th kind of early in the third.
Mhm.
Just as a coach, how do you balance that as far as obviously she's your leading scorer, keeping her in versus you don't want her to pick up like the 4th foul in the second quarter?
She gave me a look and I gave her a look back without any words exchanged. I knew what it meant and I trusted her in that moment. And so it is, especially in this particular game where, you know, they weren't post heavy and attacking her in the paint where, you know, she can navigate fouls and not fouling. And also she was the one that was, you know, cooking offensively. So just having that communication, though it wasn't verbalized, just knowing like, you know, just be aware of that. And I thought she did a great job. She didn't end up fouling again for the rest of the game, right? Well, she had 4, so she ended with 4. So just being a vet, trusting her and knowing that at the end of the day, if anything goes wrong, we do have Tina Charles and Ezzy to back her up.
And then you guys were talking about Tina earlier in defense. She said she actually like really appreciates that you guys push her defensively, and, like have a standard that wanting her to even get better, even, you know, as a veteran. What does that say about veterans that will continue to work and try to improve their game so many years ago?
Yeah, that's why she's so good and has that longevity and continues to excel every single year. You know, the great players don't settle for where they are within, you know, their game. They want to continue to expand and get better and grow as the league grows. And I commend her for that. It is a short amount of time learning our systems is not super easy, you know, it's intricate and detail oriented, but again, just kudos to her for wanting to grow and be better. That's why she's great.
Stephanie Talbot, just so complete game, she had 7 points. The only thing she on the stat she didn't get was free throws.
Yeah.
Just for imprint on the game.
Yeah, plus 13 in 15 minutes. I thought it was you know, obviously the 3 ball, the steal, the layup in transition, but what she did defensively on Kelsey Mitchell, moving, keeping her in front, just marrying those 2 and giving us energy in that moment. I thought that she was one of the players who picked us up as well when we had that lull. Yeah.
That big rejection. What was your reaction when she got Kelsey there? She kind of completely stuck.
Oh no, I mean, I can't tell you. Can't tell you what words I used, but it was I was very excited.
Any other questions? We'll wrap up.
Thanks.
I
All
had
right,
no
thank you.
problem,
Thank you,
thanks.
Chris.
Your mom was calling.